Hi, I'm Lindsay Poe. You're watching Vision, the show all about the College of Arts and Sciences. Thanks for tuning in to this edition. We've got Dr. Courtney Thompson, an assistant professor from the Department of History, here to tell us all about her new project. I can call it new, right? It's relatively new. New project that she's involved with and chairing, and then also just about you in general. So thank you so much for coming on Vision.
And thank you so much for having me here, Lindsay.
Awesome. So this new program, I want to look down at my notes. It's a new medical humanities certificate, and I want to start there because that's a big project for you that you have been dealing with for a while, I'm assuming. So what is this certificate program? And who does it benefit? What students?
Sure. So a certificate program is structured very similarly to a minor, but so you can think of it as a minor that one can get during your studies here at Mississippi State. However, the big distinction between a certificate and a minor program is that a minor has to be housed in a single department, whereas a certificate has the ability to be really truly interdisciplinary. So when you hear certificate, think minor, and think that this is a program in which you won't be taking all your courses in one department, but spread out across. So it's based in the College of Arts and Sciences, and you would be, as a student, be taking classes in various departments instead of just in history, for example.
Okay. And so thinking about it as a minor, that means there's a certain hourly component that you have to meet. So I think that I read that was like 15 hours maybe?
15 hours, yes.
And then what students does this benefit? It's students in the medical programs here, and this is them moving forward. Why would they get this certificate, right? Like, why would they get this minor?
This is a great question. So medical humanities, just to give you a bit of history, I can't help it, I'm a historian. The medical humanities is actually a field of study that's interdisciplinary in nature, and that draws on areas of study like bioethics, medicine as depicted in literature and film, the history of medicine, and various social sciences. So medical humanities as a name, as a concept, has existed for a few decades. The journal called Medical Humanities, for example, was founded in 1980. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're taking a really well-known discipline and we're bringing it here to Mississippi State to try to make it make sense to our students. Now, any student can enroll in the Medical Humanities certificate. It's not just for pre-med majors, even though the word medicine probably makes you think, oh, I have to be a pre-med major. It's for anyone interested in pre-health, bench sciences, other kinds of professions that pertain to health, medicine, the body, and that can include things like population health, counseling, nursing, not just traditional pre-med. And it's designed in particular, on the one hand, to respond to the sort of historic concerns of the field of medical humanities, but also to respond to the fact that we have a lot of students here at Mississippi State, undergraduates, who are interested in pursuing the health disciplines very broadly construed. So we have lots of pre-med students, but also pre-nursing, social work. We have a lot of social work students, people in psychology, but also students who are doing more traditional laboratory sciences, who are thinking about potentially going and working in bench science and lab science in some way, but are interested in the human component or the historical component or the ethical component of what it means to be a health professional.
Right. Oh, sounds complicated.
Not too complicated.
So how many students, is the certificate off the ground? Is it running? How long has it been on the books, I guess?
Sure. So I mean, it's been a long process to get it off the ground since I came here 3 years ago. This is something we had been talking about. But this past year, I put together a proposal in collaboration with a few other departments across the college, and we put together this proposal for this new certificate. It was approved just this past winter by the university. I'm going to get this wrong. We always call it the UCCC. It's the University. I'm not going to get it right. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
I can't remember it, but
the people up there.
The people up there. The people who basically decide whether you can offer a new course or a new major. So they gave it the stamp of approval this past winter. It started going out, being communicated across the campus, and it will officially be part of the curriculum for this coming fall semester. So we already have students enrolling, and enrollment is pretty informal compared to how a traditional major works.
How many students do you anticipate taking advantage of this certificate?
This is the big question. Right. In an ideal world, the certificate would be the first piece in a much larger program, potentially going on to being a minor with an honors component or a larger major. Right now we have around 20 students have already contacted me, and that's without it being official yet, which is pretty exciting. And I'm hoping to see more students sign up as they go on. It was designed, at least in part, to take advantage of the kinds of classes students were already naturally taking. Right. So if you're interested in going into a pre-health or pre-medical sort of field, you might already be taking medical ethics or history of medicine, or if you're interested in going into social work, you might have already taken a cluster of social work or anthropology or psychology classes. This is a way for students to get another kind of credit, another line on their transcript that acknowledges that they've put together these classes and are doing something coherent with it.
And they're being thoughtful about their education.
Yes, so part of the idea of the committee is, it's not just me, it's also colleagues in other departments, is to look at students that we're advising, that we're working with, and saying to them, oh, you've already taken 2 or 3 classes, why not take 1 or 2 more and get something to add to your transcript? Right.
Now this obviously, I mean, you said you've been working on it for 3 years since you got to Mississippi State. So before we take a break, I want to ask you, I mean, this ties into your work. You're in the history department. Do you teach one of the required classes for the certificate?
Yes, I do. I am a historian of medicine by training. I also teach women's history and history of science here, but history of medicine is really where my heart is. And the history of medicine class is one of the 2 required courses for the certificate. So it sort of makes sense for me to be the point person. It makes a lot more sense than if I were teaching, I don't know, something, you know, very far off the beaten course. Right. But I do admit this is a place where my heart really is. So I'm very pleased to hopefully get students in the door to my classroom and then send them to other classes where they can learn things that I can't teach them, things about ethics or the sociology of healthcare and so forth.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more about Dr. Courtney Thompson.
A baby's arrival can be one of the most exciting times in a family's life. It can also be one of the most anxious, especially if the child's development is hindered by medical challenges that create more questions than answers. At Mississippi State University, we're groundbreakers in the study of CHARGE syndrome, a genetic condition that leads to a host of life-threatening birth defects. Our research teams are uncovering breakthroughs in treatment and prevention with a goal of greater understanding that leads to better care. We're also providing crucial support resources for parents and helping physicians around the globe gain awareness so symptoms can be detected and addressed earlier. By engaging in this innovative analysis and therapy, we're not only improving outcomes, we're unlocking brighter futures. Imagine the flu as something children read about in history books. We are at Mississippi State University, where we ring true.
Welcome back to Vision. We've got Dr. Courtney Thompson from the History Department in our studio today. She's talking about a new medical humanities certificate that we have here at State. It's part of the College of Arts and Sciences, a big deal, really important for our students. But I wanted to shift gears just a little bit, quickly talk about you. So this is your 3rd year. You mentioned that in the first segment here at Mississippi State. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from, kind of your path to MSU?
Sure. I'm originally from New Jersey. I'm from the East Coast, and I've lived most of my life in the Northeast. I have to say, I do not miss the winters. So yeah, right. I'm really enjoying the weather in particular down south. Yeah. It's actually funny because the story of how I got here actually has a lot to do with why I developed a program like this. I went to college thinking I was going to go into medicine. I really was interested in psychiatry in particular. I thought maybe the social sciences, maybe medicine, but I definitely thought the health profession path was my future. And when I was a first year in college, I enrolled basically in a core class just to get a history credit out of my way.
Yeah.
And it was on the history of medicine and madness in America. And it was the best class I had ever taken. I fell in love with this subject. I had never thought that, oh, if I'm interested in psychiatry, maybe what I'm really interested in is the history of psychiatry. I took 3 more courses with the same faculty member who ended up becoming the person who wrote letters for me. I shifted my major from being a psychology major interested in pre-med to going into the history of science, which is, there was a department for that at my institution. I ended up applying to grad school in the history of medicine, kind of by accident.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story. And that sort of, path of trying out new things, taking an intro class, just trying to get something out of the way, led me to become a historian of medicine, and then that's what I got hired to do down here.
That's awesome.
Here I am.
I want to make sure, you sound like you're very passionate, and it's awesome that you want to give that to our students, right? And I think that's so obvious in you chairing this certificate. I know we want to talk about, again, kind of the benefits of why this is so important for any student maybe watching this or listening, or seeing this information on a flyer in the union. Why is it so important?
Well, so I already said that medical humanities as a field has kind of a deep history, but medical humanities certificate programs are also not new. They've been around for at least a decade or so, probably longer at some schools. A lot of our peer and peer plus institutions have them. Texas Tech, for example, Purdue, UMass Amherst, Rice, a lot of other schools are developing. Why are they developing them right now? And why does Mississippi State need them in order to stay with the program? It's because about 5 years ago, the MCAT got redesigned. And the idea was that they wanted future physicians to have more knowledge of the whole patient, not just biology and chemistry, but an idea about ethics, about things like history of the social sciences. So with the MCAT being redesigned, a lot of schools like ours developed these brand new certificate programs to respond to that need and that desire. It seems that the winds of change are shifting. We expect more out of our medical and health professionals. And this is a way for our Mississippi State students who are thinking about these careers to be right up there next to their peers at other institutions where the certificate is already available. I'm hoping that it will make their applications more appealing, more successful as they apply to go on to do whatever careers they want, not just medicine.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. This is an awesome program. I hope that the best of luck with getting students involved. And again, it's not only for pre-med students.
Sure.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody can do it?
Well, thank you, Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for watching this edition of Vision. We hope you tune in to the next edition.